Hi VivaFam, this is Richa from Coach Viva. By the end of this video, you'll know if the Whole30 diet is perfect for you and also be armed with a 4-point checklist on exactly how to begin. So let's start with what is the Whole30 diet. The Whole30 diet is a way for you to figure out how you feel when you eat certain foods. It is not a weight loss plan. And the way that it helps you figure out which foods affect you how is first by eliminating a whole bunch of food groups. So there's no dairy, no grains, no added sugar, no alcohol, and no legumes, because all of these have been shown in some studies to affect some people negatively. So you would just quit all of that cold turkey for 30 days, and then at the end of the 30 days, there's a reintroduction phase where you reintroduce some of these food groups little by little, and you notice or observe how your body is reacting after you reintroduce them. So now that you know that the Whole30 diet is not a weight loss plan, but rather it helps you figure out how you're feeling towards food, let's talk about its pros.
So the first thing that the Whole30 is really good at helping you out is to help you get into the habit of meal prepping. Since you can't eat out that much due to the restrictions that you have, it forces you to plan out your meals and get into the habit of doing that. This is a crucial skill for long-term success because eating out at restaurants all the time isn't going to help you stay lean anyway. And we know that this is important because this is the #1 most asked question about Whole30 is about their recipes and meal plans.
Pro number 2, training your body to live on less processed foods. A month is actually a really good amount of time to train your body to expect less sweets and expect less junk food and see how that actually affects your energy levels and your digestion. When you reintroduce the junk food and the desserts back into your diet, you likely notice that your energy levels aren't as great as they used to be, and your digestion is probably also going to suffer a little bit. But since you have lived without them for a whole month, you know what you can feel like and how great you can feel. So the benefit here is that when you reintroduce them, you'll reintroduce them mindfully. You're not going to be as all out junk food and desserts as you used to be. In fact, one of the reviews talks about how this woman who was doing the Whole30 diet cheated on the 18th day with a whole out sugar binge. And she had a sugar hangover, the likes of which she has never had after eating a similar amount of sugar the day before. So clearly even 18 days was enough for her body to not be used to that amount of sugar. And as a result, when she did reintroduce them back after her Whole30 was done, she was a lot more mindful about it.
The third things that these reviews constantly mention is how the people have higher energy, mental clarity, and that their sleep gets better. So they find that their digestive issues get resolved. They have focused and clear mental clarity. They have high energy throughout the day and higher quality sleep. Some even claim that they have improved skin benefits from going on this diet. For instance, one person found that their eyelid dermatitis cleared up during the last 10 days of doing Whole30.
Pro number 4, changing your attitude towards food. So when they would have a dessert or they would have a food that they really savor, they would really appreciate the fact that they can have it. And also if they've had a lot of it or had enough of it, they wouldn't just, just because it's there, they wouldn't just go eat it anymore. Instead, they would ask, oh, do I really want this at this moment, or can I have this later? So this kind of speed bump in their thinking only happened after doing the Whole30 diet. And also since you have flexed the self-restraint muscle for a whole month, that muscle has gotten stronger. So the next time you are full and you notice donuts or you notice some other food, you are going to have that thought of, oh, maybe I don't need to eat this right now, maybe I could eat this later.
And the fifth positive thing that people have found is that it helped them find alternative ways to decompress other than through food. A lot of us use food as a way of comforting. We tend to eat a lot of junk, sweets, and alcoholic beverages to help us decompress at the end of a day. Rather than using these substances as a way of self-soothing, Whole30 forces you to find alternative ways to decompress after a stressful day.
Con number 1, if you're thinking of doing the Whole30 diet as a weight loss diet, then that is not what it is intended for. While you may lose some weight as a side effect, that's just bonus. Also, the Whole30 diet is not a medical diagnostic tool. If you feel that you have certain food intolerances, you want to check with your doctor if they're on board with you trying the Whole30 diet. And the reason for this is because your particular condition might require certain nutrients that the Whole30 diet eliminates as on the get-go. So you want to make sure that whatever you're eliminating is not the thing that is actually beneficial for you for your condition. Also, it's worthy to note that a very small percentage of the population has food allergies to the extent that you want to cut out entire food groups. You want to check up on all of these with your doctor.
The second difficulty about being on Whole30 is that the preparation involved can be quite intense. Because this isn't just you scaling back one restaurant meal a day or adding in one vegetable a day than you have in the past. This is a complete overhaul of your eating lifestyle. You will need to prep a grocery list, recipes, and strategically choose your outings so as you can stay on this diet. For example, you can't eat mustards and most sauces because they have sugar in it. So get ready to read a lot of ingredients and labels in order to make sure that you are in compliance with Whole30. Another example is that even if you make a cupcake from ingredients that are Whole30 approved, sometimes that is still not considered acceptable on the diet. Most people end up eating the same thing every single day to avoid such complexities, and they end up dropping out because they get very bored of eating the same foods over and over again. And this is especially hard for people who don't know how to cook or don't have the time to cook.
Your social life may suffer. Since so much of our social interactions revolve around food, you may find it really hard to find a restaurant where it caters to the Whole30 diet. And even if you find a restaurant that has some items on the menu where you can still stick to your Whole30 diet, you might find it quite stressful because you have to actually do all that research, you need to look at the menu, you need to plan ahead, and just basic things of going out with your friends is just going to take so much effort that you might find yourself just avoiding social interactions as a result of that.
The fourth thing that makes Whole30 difficult is targeted towards people who don't eat meat. If you don't eat meat, you do have to be a little extra prepared. For instance, protein is going to be a little difficult to get because a lot of plant-based protein sources are eliminated or they recommend that you minimize. If you're vegetarian, your go-to protein source will primarily be eggs, so you will be eating that quite often. If you are a vegan, Whole30 does allow you to have some minimally processed tempeh, edamame, tofu, seitan, and legumes. Note that with the exception of soy-based products like tempeh, tofu, and edamame, you should combine these proteins with quinoa. This is because a lot of the plant-based protein sources don't contain the entire complete amino acid profile. Some of the grains can help and fill in those holes for.
So now that you're armed with all of the pros and cons, who is the Whole30 diet best for? Number one, if you have any kind of condition, you want to make sure that your doctor is on board with you trying the Whole30 diet. And number two, if you have sleep issues, if you have digestive issues, or if you have energy issues and you think it might be food related, then a Whole30 diet might be a good experiment to do. Again, remember that the Whole30 diet is not a weight loss diet. It is a what makes me feel good experiment. Now, if you have decided that the Whole30 diet is for you, here's your 4-point checklist to get started right now. Number one, I've put into the video description 2 books that you can read. You can read both of them or you can read one of them. Or alternatively, you can head over to the Whole30 subreddit FAQ, which also explains Whole30 really well. I put all of those links in the video description. Go take a look at them. Number two, I strongly suggest that you create a support group around you. And the reason for this is if you read any of the reviews, the people who made it to the end had a really good support system around them. In fact, some of them started with 30 people in the group who were doing Whole30, and by the end of the 30 days, only 3 people were left. So it's really important that you have a good number of people who are also doing it with you, so you guys can support each other. You can create this group by yourself, of course. You can do this with friends and family, or if you don't have anyone around you who also wants to do it, then I've put some links in the description below to some Facebook groups as well as the Reddit group that you could join for support. Number 3, when you get onto the Whole30 diet, your body is going to go through some low lows before you're going to experience the highs. So it's really important that you know what this journey is going to look like, so you know what to expect and aren't freaked out when you're not feeling as great as you thought you would. So I've put a link below to a journey roadmap, which tells you exactly what to expect on a day-by-day basis. Number 4, pick a start date and have a work back schedule for all of your meal planning so that you're ready when that start date arrives. As we have talked about this, a lot of your success on the Whole30 diet hinges on planning around your food. This is your recipes, this is your grocery list, this is scouting out restaurants where you can actually have your social life still. So you need to plan for all of that. And there you have it, the 4-point checklist to getting started on the Whole30 diet. If you loved this review of the Whole30 diet and you want more reviews like this on health and fitness products, services, and programs, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell icon so that you get a notification every time we upload a video. And until next time.